A growing fuel scandal is shaking Kenya's energy sector, and top officials have stepped down and pressure is now mounting at the highest level of government. The Kakamega Senator Boni Halwale is calling for the resignation and arrest of the Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi following a widening investigation into a multi-billion shilling fuel scandal that has already forced 3 senior energy officials out of office. The call comes at a critical moment as investigators dig deeper into claims of manipulated fuel stock data and irregular procurement practices within the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. At the center of the storm is an alleged scheme involving the diversion and the procurement of substandard fuel valued at more than 4 billion shillings. 3 key figures have already exited their positions. That is the Petroleum Principal Secretary, the Managing Director of the Kenya Pipeline Company, and the Director General of the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Their resignations follow intense investigations into claims that official data on national fuel stocks may have been altered to create a false sense of shortage, and these investigators believe opened the door for emergency fuel procurement outside established government-to-government agreements. According to the senator, or rather to Senator Boni Halwale, responsibility does not stop with those who have allegedly, or rather those who have already stepped down. He argues that the cabinet secretary, as the head of the ministry, had a direct duty to prevent such a breach. And the senator says the CS is either knew about the alleged diversion of condemned fuel into the Kenyan market or failed to detect it. And in both cases, he insists that accountability must follow. In his statement in X platform, Boni Halwale said, CS Opiyo Wandayi's core responsibility is to develop, implement, review, and enforce policies in the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. He is the leader, reporting directly to the president. He knew or ought to have known the diversion of the condemned fuel worth 4 billion shillings for those 3 thieves into the Kenyan market. If he knew, he must be arrested immediately for criminal culpability and also culpability. And if he didn't know, he must immediately take political responsibility and resign or be sacked for gross incompetence. If the president fails to sack him because of the shenanigans of broad-based government, then the National Assembly must then exercise its constitutional mandate and impeach him. That is Boni Halwale's statement on social media. The senator has further warned that if no action is taken by the executive, Parliament then could step in. And now he says that the National Assembly may be forced to exercise its constitutional mandate, including impeachment proceedings. And these developments come as the government confirms a full-scale probe into the country's petroleum supply chain. And investigators are now examining whether emergency fuel imports were overpriced, improperly sourced, and failed to meet quality standards. Preliminary findings suggest a coordinated effort by some officials to manipulate in-country fuel data, and the alleged goal was to create panic and justify bypassing the government-to-government fuel supply framework. And that framework was introduced in 2023 after Kenya experienced a severe fuel shortage the previous year. The government entered into agreements with the international suppliers, including Aramco Trading, Fujairah, ADNOC, Global Trading Limited, and Emirates National Oil Company, Singapore Limited. The aim was clear: to stabilize supply, to shield the market from global price fluctuations, and also to reduce pressure on the country's foreign exchange reserves. Since the introduction of these agreements, fuel supply had remained relatively stable, and even during periods of geopolitical tension in the Middle East, Contracted suppliers continued to meet their obligations without disruption, and there were no reported shortages, no emergency conditions. But now investigators believe a different picture may have been presented internally, a picture that suggested an imminent fuel crisis, and this alleged misrepresentation led to the procurement of an emergency fuel shipment outside the approved framework. That shipment is now at the center of the investigation, and the consignment carried aboard the vessel MV Paloma was initially destined for Angola, but it was later rerouted to the port of Mombasa under unclear circumstances, and authorities say the shipment docked between March 27th and also March 29th this year. What followed raised immediate concern. The fuel was flagged for quality issues, including elevated sulfur levels that did not meet Kenya's regulatory standards. Investigators also found that the shipment had been purchased at a significantly inflated price, and there are also fears that a second shipment may have followed a similar path. If confirmed, total losses could approach 8 billion shillings, and the implications are serious. Petroleum products are backbone of Kenya's economy, and any disruption or manipulation in this sector affects transport, food prices, industry, and daily life. This scandal is therefore not just about numbers, it is about public trust, it is about economic stability, and also it is about the integrity of national systems. And according to the investigators, the anomaly was first detected internally, and a quality assurance manager at the Kenya Pipeline Company reportedly flagged the shipment. This triggered internal disagreements before the matter was escalated to authorities, and detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations have since taken over the case. Several persons of interest were interrogated for more than 7 hours at DCI headquarters along Kiambu Road, and during the operation, investigators reportedly recovered over 100 million shillings in cash from the homes of those under investigation. This discovery has intensified suspicions of financial misconduct linked to the procurement process, and the government has described the alleged actions as a serious breach of public trust, and officials say the case may amount to economic crimes under existing laws, including provisions with the Penal Code. A statement signed by the Chief of Staff Felix Kosgei confirms that all relevant agencies have been directed to conduct a full and transparent investigation. All officials within the energy sector have been ordered to provide complete access to records, and the government says it is determined to protect national interests, and it has warned that any act of economic sabotage will be met with firm and decisive action. Meanwhile, disciplinary proceedings have also begun against additional managers within the sector. The widening scope of the investigation suggests that more revelations could follow, and for now the focus remains on accountability. Who knew what, when they knew it, and what actions were taken or not taken. The resignation of top officials marks a significant development, but for many observers, it is only the beginning. The call by Senator Kalwale raises the stakes even higher if it shifts attention to political leadership, and it places the spotlight squarely on the cabinet secretary. And as the investigations continue, the country watches closely. The outcome could shape not only the future of the Kenya's energy sector, but also public confidence in the governance and oversight. In a sector that powers the nation, the search for truth now carries the weight of accountability and the expectation that no office, however high, stands above it. That is all from Kenya Lens Media for now. Kindly, if you are new here, consider subscribing, liking and sharing our content. Also hit the notification bell and turn it on so that you can be getting notifications each and every time we bring in new contents.